Hello, everyone. This is Rosemary with Good Journeys Tarot. And today I thought I would share with you some of my tarot mail, things that I've acquired during my convalescence from my surgery as I sofa surfed and tried to kill some time. Some of these things are things I acquired for work I want to do next year, and some of them are things that I got on spur of the moment. So why don't we just jump on in? So one of the things that I acquired for next year is the Empowering Questions deck, which is basically just that, questions that Simon on the Hermit's Cave has. He shuffles and then he works with one each week. And so that's my intent for this next year. I want to write those into my planner each week and contemplate those questions. So I purchased that deck for that purpose. The other thing that I purchased for next year is the Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards. I like the way that these cards are organized. And I'm looking forward to working with them in regards to my chakras, which has become an important part of my practice. I'm not a big fan of the backs on these cards. I mean, they're kind of cute. It kind of looks like a full card, and it has all of the crystals and the colors of the chakras on it, but a little bit of a hermit thing going on there. So, I mean, it is cute, but I don't really care for people in my chakra cards. I don't know why. That just seems a little bit weird, but... and the cards are divided by the chakras, so you have each chakra represented by a color, and these are pretty much the colors that I associate with the chakras: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and then for the crown chakra, usually silver or white. So I'm looking forward to getting to know this deck and working with it with my chakras next year, and also learning from her text. I know already from watching some of her videos that I won't embrace everything that she teaches, but that I'm going to learn a lot from her. And I do have, as you can see here, the toolkit that goes with it. It's a 52-week book that I'll be going through. I also finally got the Crow Tarot. I actually almost got this on the Kickstarter. I'm glad I waited because I did not like the backs on the Kickstarter. I love this stylized feather back on the backs of these cards. And the images are great. They're all have crows in them, which is a bird that I associate with a lot. I constantly hear them in the area and see them here where I live. For me, it's a good omen, a good sign in my life. I know some people find them to be a negative omen, but not me. So I did grab that off of my wish list. Another thing that I grabbed during my time away that was on my wish list were these books by Jenna Matlin, which are Have Tarot Will Party and Have Tarot Will Travel. I really would like to do more in-person readings at events and parties, that type of thing, than I have done in the past. I'm really not getting into the online reading thing. I just don't feel like I connect with people online as I do in person. One of the things that I grabbed, because I had purchased the Crystal Unicorn Tarot, and the author of that deck came to Atlanta, and I saw her. And one of her mentors is Lisa Robertson, and in their Facebook group, they were talking about this book and about doing a 30-day study of this book and working with the pathworking of the tarot. And so I decided to do that from my couch while I was recuperating. I did enjoy it. If you're looking to purchase this book, I would wait until they issue the edit, which should include the missing card. I know they're working on that. The King of Pentacles is not in this book for some reason. Now, there are some decks that I grabbed because I saw people using them and hadn't really noticed them before. One was the Bianco Nero Tarot, and I had an interesting experience with this deck. This deck just worked for me right out of the box. Most of my decks, I tend to find I have to work to get to know a little bit. I have to edge them, work with some crystals with them, put them on my altar, those types of things. And I don't know if it's because these are black and white or because they're basically RWS or what, but I just took them out of the box, shuffled them, and I got great readings with them. Now, this isn't going to be probably one of my most used decks, but it will be one that I will go to when I just need to do a reading and I don't need to spend much time connecting with the deck beforehand. I can use this one every day if I wanted to without any problem. And now I have another black and white deck in my collection. I also had seen an advertisement for the Moon deck online, and so I decided to check it out, and I'm probably going to use the box for Travel Altar, but I did get the cards. Has a more feminine energy, which I am looking to embrace in my life right now. This was actually the first card I pulled, which is we're all sisters and reflect the divine in one another. And this really is reflective of where I'm headed and trying to spend time with other people and celebrating our lives. So the Moon deck is nice. I know that there's some criticisms of this deck. It is a little warm and fuzzy, but it's beautiful, and I think that I will enjoy working with it just to give myself some hope and some connection with the feminine in my life. I happen to have this Itsy bag, which was just perfect for it, that went with the back of the cards. I've also gotten some crystals. I got this lepidolite for self-worth. Try to embrace myself for who I am, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. I also got my thumbstone, which is, as soon as I try to say the name of this stone, it always escapes me, but I do know the name of this stone. So I'm going to come back to it. But this stone is one that a lot of public speakers will carry. It's associated with your throat chakra, and it is gorgeous. But I'll get back to the name. I have some Dalmatian jasper. Finally, I'd been wanting a skull in Dalmatian jasper. It's kind of a grounding and stone there, but one of the books that I had been wanting to purchase was the Querying the Tarot. And the Querying the Tarot book actually uses the images from the Urban Tarot. And so I said, you know what? The Urban Tarot is actually a pretty affordable deck. I'm going to grab it. This is the first Thoth deck that I really connected with. I am thoroughly enjoying the deck, and I only acquired it because of this Querying the Tarot book. I will say that I probably get more out of Cassandra Snow's book when working with this deck than I do the little white book that comes with it, though there are some interesting tidbits in this book about the locations of the images in the cards. The great thing about this is while it is Thoth, it actually uses full scenery as well, so you don't only get the arrangement of the tips like you do in Thoth decks, but you also get an image to correspond to it. That's really beautiful. And I'm enjoying working with it. One of the things that really connected me to this deck was her interpretation of the Queen of Swords, which I will go into at a later date on another video. But I really am enjoying this as my first Thoth-based deck, and working with it, particularly with Querying the Tarot book by Cassandra. Now, I will say about Cassandra's book is that while I do love what she has to say about the cards, the one thing that's troublesome for me is that it's difficult to use as a resource because she doesn't go card by card. And that's fine. I understand why some people might do that. But, you know, you can see here where she decides some cards are related in some way. And so she'll have like the 6 and 8 of Wands are together. Or she might have the 3, 4, and 5 of a suit together. Like here's the 8, 9, and 10 of Swords all together. And I get why she would do that. It just makes it a little more difficult to use as a resource book. But I do very much love the book, and I will be doing another video about it. I think that brings me to my very last deck, which is the Slow Tarot. And this deck has become my most valuable deck. I really have connected with these cards. I think as much because they are beautiful artwork as they really just speak to me and my personal life experience, I guess, to a degree. She chose to do the aces without borders. The others all have borders corresponding to their particular suit. This is a beautiful Knight of Coins. There's the 8 of Cups. For the most part, her deck does follow RWS. There are a couple of cards that are a little odd to me, that I don't quite, that it took me a little bit to get, but they're gorgeous, and I love her pages. I think I may even like her pages as much, if not more, than the Sacerobito, which has some of my favorite pages in it. Love that 7 of Cups. This is probably not my favorite 3 of Swords. However, I do appreciate that it is very much like the RWS, and it does not have an actual biological heart, which is something I really do not like in tarot decks. This is the card that I struggled with, the 7 of Coins, but I have now embraced its intent. To me, when I see that coin, that particular card, I always think of, you know, someone taking time to enjoy the fruits of their labor, but the card also has that aspect of, you know, your hard work may or may not produce fruit. And so this is kind of the same idea. You know, he's prepared for the future, but who knows if it will actually reap the reward that he wants. This is an extra card that came with the deck, Atonement. I'm using it in my deck. Not everyone chooses to use extra cards. I love that she chose to use green in the water here, because water is not all blue. Different oceans, lakes, and rivers appear differently. But really loving this deck and really connecting with this deck personally. So these are some of the things that I've acquired recently. I hope that you guys will like and subscribe. I will have some new videos coming soon, since I am now mostly through my recuperation. And for the first time ever, sugar makes an appearance on my video. Until next time, good journeys.